Now, some of the interesting things we find about teaching thinking, is that many youngsters who seem to be not so good at academic subjects suddenly turn out to be very good at thinking. Now, the reason is this, that if this is the interface between the student and the world outside, if a student is weak on the input, then clearly the student is going to be weak on the output. And most subjects require student input before there can be an output. But with thinking, the input is very slight. You're using the tools on a student's own experience. So youngsters who are weak at input may be very strong at output. Another point which is very important, and this applies to younger students, is that at the age of 6 to 7, there is one gateway through which all youngsters have to pass. And that gateway is called reading and writing. And if a youngster is weak at that gateway for a lot of reasons, dyslexia, ADD, many other things, then that youngster thinks that he or she is stupid. The teacher thinks that youngster is stupid. The parents may even think they're stupid. And eventually the youngster agrees that he or she is stupid and often can get turned off education forevermore. Now, what we find is that if we put a second gateway called thinking, some of the court lessons, for example, then the youngsters who are very poor at getting through the reading writing gateway turn out to be very bright and do very well in the thinking gateway. That gives them self-esteem and confidence, which then actually feeds back to improve their reading and writing. Very key, because that is the biggest waste of talent in society, just having that single gateway for reading and writing. Now, in terms of age of use, that depends a lot on the situation. Norfolk Academy in the United States have been using the court lessons for many, many years. Last year, they were chosen as one of the 6 best schools in the whole of the United States. They teach the court lessons from the age of 6 up to 18, repeating the lessons. My preferred choice of age is probably 9 to 11. That's when youngsters have tremendous energy for thinking. They're not yet bogged down and entrained in specific subject disciplines as such. They enjoy thinking. Whenever we've taught thinking in schools, youngsters always choose thinking as their favorite subject, Really enjoy thinking. It's not an imposition. Indeed, one school, I forget where, as a punishment to the youngsters, would say you can't go to your thinking lessons. That was a punishment. So children really enjoy the opportunity to develop their ideas, to have ideas, to use their minds. The point I really want to emphasize is we're looking at something which is simple, practical, effective, and robust. Robust means you don't have to be the most wonderful teacher in the world to make it work. All you've got to do is have a clear focus of what you're trying to do at any moment. It should be taught directly. Indeed, in the past, we found that sometimes the physical education teachers are some of the best teachers of court thinking, because they have a very clear idea of what they are trying to do and able to model it. Some of the teachers who have the most difficulty have been philosophy teachers who want to try and make distinctions where none need be, and so on and so on. So clarity, simplicity, directness, avoiding confusion are the key elements. In terms of the class itself, lively, fun, brisk, interesting. But always remembering that at the end of the day, there is a specific tool that you want to teach explicitly, not just by induction, explicitly. This is the tool, and this is how we practice it, and this is how we use it. So we come to the end of my part of the talking, and now the idea is to answer questions which you may want to have and may want to raise.